Hey, I'm Anthony Romano, and this video is going to tell you how MCT oil is going to make entering keto easy as hell, but also it's going to dramatically improve your brain function no matter what diet you're doing, okay? So this is going to be a life-changing video in my opinion. Maybe I'm a little biased, but if you could like it, that will make YouTube show my content to more people, and that's what you can do to help me grow my page. Also, subscribe and follow me on Instagram. That'd be cool too. I have a ketone supplement giveaway as well. Rules are in the description. I encourage you to check it out. You might win some stuff. Let's get into the video. So, what is so special about MCT oil when somebody's adapting? Okay, people normally never shut the hell up about MCT oil, and if you've seen my other videos, you know that I always stated the keto diet is simply the absence of sugar, okay? It's not actually that you have to dump fat or oil on everything, but this is simply a luxury, okay? It's a booster technique for a variety of purposes, but technically all that's required for ketosis is the absence of carbs, okay? So it's not as if I'm saying you have to dump this on everything, and over the 9 years that I've been eating keto, at first never really paid as much attention the first couple years to dumping butter and oil on everything, okay? Because it seemed just like marketing BS, okay? And over time, and as I had worked with people with more severe conditions, people with brain injuries, I had really been enlightened to how powerful this stuff is. And that's why for the past, several years, I've been using it with people with very specific conditions. But the way this applies to you, even if you don't have a specific condition, is that the primary benefit of MCTs is they can go directly to your brain as fuel. Now, if you've ever seen anything from BULLETPROOF, which in my opinion makes the best MCTs, they literally write this on their product, Brain Octane. That's what they call the product. This is specifically C8 MCT, which is Capryllic acid. This is the most efficient one. It causes the least stomach upset, okay? If you're consuming a shitty quality MCT oil, you'll have to take a shit if you overdo it, okay? That's just how it goes. So don't overdo MCT oil or other fats at the same time that you're drinking MCT oil. But the point is, C8 MCT is going to go get digested in your liver and then go right to your brain as ketones for fuel. Now, here's why this is important. For a lot of people, when they're starting keto, their brain is trying to quit sugar, okay? If you watch my other videos, you will see that the brain prefers to use ketones as its primary fuel. However, it will always take glucose and use it first because it's quicker. So, in my opinion, glucose and sugar is the superseding fuel, and fats and ketones are the default fuel. Your body will use them if you're not eating anything, which is what we know the fasted state is, okay? Which is also why keto only requires the absence of carbs. So, and that's what your body's going to default into. MCTs, though, there has been plenty of work that I've been influenced by, particularly from Mary Newport and Stephen Cunan. So for Mary Newport, she was a medical professional who basically fixed her husband's brain deterioration and Alzheimer's with coconut oil. And Stephen Cunan basically has a lot of studies, and I've seen some of his seminars where MCT oil has directly positively benefited people with serious brain issues, okay? Now, my own professional experience here with my coaching is I've had clients who've had brain issues. I've had clients with brain injuries, and every single time MCT oil has done the trick. Exogenous ketones have as well, but for some reason it seems to be something that, in my experience, I've seen people prefer MCT oil for, especially if they're getting a high quality form like Capryllic acid C8. It is more expensive, but it does the trick if somebody does have an issue.
So if we look at the people that are of most interest during brain aging and Alzheimer's disease, the CTL are cognitively normal, healthy, older people, age matched to the MCI, which is mild cognitive impairment, and AD Alzheimer's, and we've got about 20 people per group in this project. And these are the K values. This is the capacity of the brain to take up the ketones. It's kind of like how many doors are open. If someone calls fire here, if there's only 2 doors that open, we're going to back up before we can get everyone through the doorways. If 4 doors open or 6 doors open, that's a larger K value in the analogy of fire and trying to escape. And as you can see here with glucose, the capacity of the brain to use glucose is higher in the areas where the red and orange colors are shown on the brain. And as you go towards Alzheimer's, you can see there's a virtual disappearance of the red, orange, and the green is more predominant. So the capacity of the brain to use glucose decreases in Alzheimer's disease, and this has been established for many, many years. If we look at the ketone uptake in exactly the same individuals, you can see that the green color, in fact, the capacity is lower than it is for glucose under the normal circumstances, but it, if anything, actually increases as you get towards Alzheimer's disease. There is no loss of the capacity to transport ketones into the brain. It's the same cells, so they can't be dead because this is an active transport-mediated process. So this is encouraging us to believe that we could use the normal brain ketone uptake capacity to in fact bypass the glucose deficit and potentially have an impact on cognitive function. So the issue then is, well, that's basal uptake rates. What about uptake rates when you provide a ketogenic substrate? Simple way of doing this is with an MCT, a medium-chain triglyceride. We arbitrarily hit on a dose of 30 grams a day. We did this over 1 month. And this rather busy-looking slide is basically showing you that the plasma values are on the x-axis, and the star and triangle are before they start the treatment. So the values are lower, around 0.35, 0.4 total ketones. When they go on either of these two MCT supplements, we basically double the plasma levels, and the brain values are shown on the y-axis. And you can see that we've doubled the brain uptake on the y-axis. The key values are in the background. The dotted line is what the reference value, the slope of the line that we would ideally like to see, that has been shown in our studies with young healthy adults. And basically they're identical, statistically identical slopes for the Alzheimer patients. If we were to extend these plasma values to much, much higher values, we might see that the slope of this line connecting the blue triangles, the green triangles, might drift off, but it's very close to what it should be. So this suggests that the brain can use additional ketones in Alzheimer's disease when you provide them.
The way this ties in for you is that your brain will rapidly uptake these, and we know it works in people with brain issues and, down-regulated brain function, okay, as a result of certain issues they've encountered in their life. And when you take this, I've seen so many people adapt to keto easier because basically their brain is getting an alternative fuel that is more powerful. Remember, fat is double the energy density of carbs, okay? You get 4 calories per gram of glucose and 9 calories per gram of fat. So even though I'm not saying it's going to be an equal amount distributed to your brain, the point is, because again, that also depends on adaptation, how new you are, a lot of other things like that, but taking this stuff will give your brain literally octane, brain octane. That's why they call it that, as a funny side note. But in people who are trying to quit sugar, they may also have an addiction to MSG, aspartame, artificial sweeteners, that excite your brain's glutamate sensors, because basically they're trying to trick you into thinking that food tastes better than it actually does. And for a lot of people, that will also make their body crave sugar or foods that contain those artificial ingredients. So the way to smoothen this out is to not only take a fat that's going to stabilize your blood sugar, but get directly delivered to your brain and give it an alternative, better fuel that it will downregulate the need to crave sugar for later. So that is how this ties in, and I've seen this so many times. I have a video on how this stuff is amazing for pre-exercise, pre-workout, okay? And in general, I actually always find that I perform better in terms of sports whenever I take MCT oil beforehand. But the main point to take away here is this stuff is powerful for people who are coming into a ketogenic diet and have some sort of addiction to certain foods. This stuff is powerful for people who, of course, want enhanced brain focus, etc., but also for people who have injuries to their brain, or in general, if you're not feeling as sharp as you can, this is going to be powerful. In general, I find a lot of people when they are, even having a healthy diet that has a good amount of carbs, because granted, I'm not just saying that the only way to be healthy is keto. I do lots of keto cycling with carbs. And as I always say, I believe the metabolism is seasonal, just like everything else in the world, okay? And if you think about it, carbs don't grow for at least half the year, depending where you lived in thousands of years ago. So we would have had carbs for some part of the year and none for other parts of the year. So again, there's definitely ways to work this into a balanced diet that has carbohydrates in it, and that actually is something that your body would prefer. Getting the additional benefit of ketones is going to minimize the cravings for sugar. It's going to make your lifestyle far more balanced, and of course your focus more effective, and I'd argue workout performance improved as well. But that is it for this video. I tried to make it quick. MCT oil is powerful stuff, especially if you're coming from a place in your life where your brain was addicted to sugar. Okay, that is it for this video. I'm Anthony Romano. Peace.